something tells me we're going to start with the draft, Mark Dondero.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the first few picks there went as expected, I guess you could say, but there was a big shakeup early on, and once I fully got through my process of figuring out whatever Adam Schefter was wearing, I realized that there was a big trade that happened at the second overall pick.
We have a trade. The Cleveland Browns have traded the second pick to the Jacksonville Jaguars. And with the second pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Travis Hunter, wide receiver, defensive back from Colorado.
So that was a bold move by the Jags, but one I respect and support.
Took it to the limit.
They're going to have a newcomer come in there.
We're just playing by the rules.
Well, they're going to steal the show. Okay, so Schefter, do we have Schefter breaking it down?
I don't know.
I was looking for it. I kind of had trouble finding it, but I'll keep looking for it.
It feels like the one thing maybe I asked for in the pre-show meeting. It feels like maybe the one request I made of the day, Ryan. Is that fair?
That's fair. That's fair.
Okay, all right. It feels like do you guys remember that? Because I don't ask for. I'm easy to work with, right? That's kind of the one thing I wanted. I'm like, can we have Schefter like making the actual announcement? And it feels like both Ryan and George were like, oh yeah. That's no problem. That's it.
All fair.
It just seems weird.
This is
It
now a
seems odd.
chance for one of us to do a fake Schefter, though.
Oh, all right. Well,
Do you have one in you, Mark?
Fake Schefter? I don't think I have one.
How about Alex Barth breaking the trade? That could be even better.
oh.
Bill Belichick said last year, you don't get the real draft intel about 12 hours before this started. The rumblings this afternoon, it's come to fruition. The Browns have traded out of the second overall pick to the Jacksonville Jaguars. So the Browns are moving on from number 2, also 104 and 200, 104 and 200, to Jacksonville.
Yeah.
For what? All right, Alex. I'll tell you what it was. According to my sources, the Jaguars gave up the number 5 pick. Oh, this steered somewhere else. Number 36.
Are you doing
and number 126?
Is this Schefter?
And the number 1 pick in 2026 for Travis Hunter, the consensus best player on the board. It's a blockbuster. Back to you, Greeny.
He's an A++, 10 out of 10, top of the heap, king of the hill, A number 1, two-way player. Yeah, you gotta throw in. You have to say the same thing over and over again, and use 100 words when 10 will do. That's essentially the Schefterism there. Just for a moment, we won't spend a ton of time on it, but the fit that Adam Schefter was going with last night.
No idea. There looked to be a hood attached somewhere there. It was a tie. I get it was Green Bay, so sort of business in the front, party in the back type of thing. I was totally confused, and it took me a second to get over that before I could digest what was actually happening.
So we need to at least allow for the possibility that it is some kind of 2-in-1 garment, because Fred Toucher has worn this at least once to the Mike Gorman celebration night at the Celtics. The sport coat with the hoodie sewn into the back of it. I've only seen it one other time in my life. I remember Shaquille O'Neal wearing one onto either Letterman or Conan or something like that. And that was like years ago. So Fred's proclamation that this is the height of fashion and that this is something really cool, A, I push back on, and B, what are you doing? You know, it's one of you're either going to wear a hoodie or you're going to wear a sport coat, but you can't be both. It is the mullet of garments. You know, it's supposed to be business in the front and party in the back.
Yeah, keep it separate. Like either wear the classic button-down tie underneath with the jacket,
right?
Or as I've done increasingly more often, thin hoodie underneath and then the jacket. You know, but like the sewn-in part, I don't get.
But is it the thin hoodie with a sport coat type jacket,
Yes.
or just a jacket?
Yes.
Oof. Okay.
Wow.
I've never even
Do you feel
considered
that? Do you feel that you pull it off?
Well enough, yeah.
Okay. Schefter looked uncomfortable wearing it. And it must have been cold there last night because everybody was dressed warm.
Yeah.
So I get wanting to be warm, but I don't know that you can do that. I don't know if Adam Schefter can do it.
I think, he considers himself big time, and I wonder if this aligns with that sort of mentality. Like, was that a Tom Ford? Does that guy do something like that?
I'm looking at it again. It's definitely a separate hoodie underneath the jacket. It's got to be. This is not like a Fred Toucher thing. Okay. And it's also very calculated because it all matched, I would say, a little too perfectly. A little too matchy-match, as my wife will sometimes tell me. I'm like, how do I look? She said, a little too matchy-match. You got a Garanimals thing going on there. And I see what you did, matching your T-shirt underneath to the pants, but you can't do that. You got to stop.
Headline in the New York Post: Adam Schefter's NFL draft fit gets completely shredded. One of the worst looks. Now, this is just an aggregation of all mean things said on the internet, which is now like 10% of articles that you will find. But, it is the complete hoodie, unless this is sewn in, like, underneath.
I don't think it is. No, I think it's a full separate hoodie. Who dressed you today, my guy? I can't tell if you dressed for TV or the gym. Never seen a hoodie over a tie and under a jacket. It's the tie. It's the tie that's throwing everybody off.
Yes.
Yes. You know what? I'm going to say, fine. For you, Fred, anybody else, okay, I get it. I wouldn't do it, but if you're just wearing a hoodie with a jacket and no tie, fine. It's a choice. The tie is what throws it. What are you doing?
It was mid-50s last night in Green Bay.
Okay, sorry.
You don't need that much extra layers at mid-50s, but I didn't like it, and I thought he could have been better in that spot. Okay.
All right. So they Jacksonville, and Kendra's going to be here later. We're going to talk about this a lot more, but Jacksonville gives up their first round pick at 5 to move up to 2. They give up a first rounder next year. That's the big piece, and then there's some pick swapping for this year later on in later rounds. Does that pretty much sum it all up?
Yes, this was a trade for quarterback that they viewed and justified as getting both a corner and a receiver, because that's Travis Hunter's deal.
Yes.
How I also look at this is this was an NBA trade in the NFL draft. Like, when you come up from number 5 in a draft that has 2 guys at the top, potential all-stars you can build around, maybe not a number 1, but a number 2, you give up this type of haul. And that's what Travis Hunter is going to be now. Like, in the way that when Cooper Flagg goes to Utah or Washington or whatever, you are instantly much more willing to watch the Wizards or the Jazz. I now am captured by what the idea of the Jaguars could be with Travis Hunter, because he will play 2 ways. And even if he only played 1 way, he might be the best prospect we've seen in years at receiver or corner. So when you look at the haul, you go, oh, that's a lot. And I agree. And I probably would not have done this trade for the Jaguars. The way they approached this was, he's a franchise-changing player, and we already have the quarterback. Let's go up and get him. Like, this was both a good business decision and a football one, if it works out. But the way that it all came together was very much more like the NBA, which is what I loved about this.
Yeah, and we know that Trevor Lawrence has had some good moments, but they need to know exactly what and he's been so up and down. Like, I picked them last year. I think it was last year to win the AFC or be in the championship game, and for Lawrence to be the MVP.
Oh, no.
It was bad. And I just thought the trajectory was there, and it wasn't. And now you get a guy like this, maybe you can realize that potential just in the nick of time before Lawrence becomes a bust or something close to that, because he hasn't been on the same plan as when he was in that playoff game in Kansas City and looked good.
It's interesting to know, too, that before the draft got started, there was some, shooting around the room from different analysts about who the first quarterback was going to be off the board. Would it be Cam Ward, which we all knew it was going to be? Mm-hmm. And, that Cam Ward, that's what's happening, in Tennessee, and Cam Ward. And multiple analysts on ESPN said Shedeur Sanders should be the guy, and he should be the number 1 pick off the board. And I'm thinking to myself, are these guys are they being instructed to say that? Do they have to say it? Is it something that's being told, you need to take this side of the argument, or else we're not going to have a pre-draft show? Because otherwise, what kind of credibility do you have left after you not only say he should be, and you can have that opinion. Of course, you can have whatever opinion you want, but to somehow predict that it's going to happen, like, you don't know until you absolutely know. But with a 99.99% certainty, it was going to be Cam Ward, not Shedeur Sanders. And to say otherwise in the minutes leading up to the draft seems like lunacy to me.
It's crazy. It's part of the ESPN employee kind of know-it-all-itis, because if you're Booger McFarland, for example, you're doing Saturdays in the college football studio from noon until about 7, halftime of every game that they're broadcasting. You have to know about all of these teams. Oh, and then we're going to ask you to do NFL on Sundays, at which point you can't keep up. And so you see even like Ryan Clark or someone who's on NFL Live. That man is not grinding tape. He has a whole podcast. He's building a whole business out of his own brand. He's very successful at it. But when you only have so many hours in the day, you're not going to know that Shedeur Sanders is guaranteed not to go number one. Like, they should have known better. The producer should have said the opposite of what you're alleging, which is, hey, stir this at the top. Like, let's skip over this. But I knew, sitting here in New England, in cold Massachusetts, this is not going to happen. The teams that I've talked to do not see Shedeur Sanders as a first-round pick, and Burt Breer's going to be in here later, and he tweeted as much last night. So they should have known that, but they're asked to do too much and stretched to do too much, so you just say things. Oh, I'm so surprised.
Mel Kiper wouldn't get off of it. I mean, what are we doing? He lost me, though, in, 2009? I remember he did the same thing with Jimmy Clausen, and it was ridiculous. If you watched him play at Notre Dame, he didn't even look like he belonged in Division I. And you're talking about him like a first-round pick in the NFL draft. He lost me, at least with his quarterback analysis. He lost me then, and last night was just as ridiculous. All right, the Patriots.
Oh, hold on one second.
Okay, sorry.
We got to step aside, but I want to grab one call before we do here quickly from Brian in Bellingham. Yes, Brian?
Hey, guys. Good morning.
Hey.
Hey, the whole hoodie suit jacket thing, that's a real thing. There are stores that sell it. I can name one of them if you want me to name it. It's Johnston and Murphy. That store's at the Natick Mall on the second floor. It's also at the Rentham Outlets. That sells a hoodie suit jacket.
You wouldn't happen to work for that store, would you? Right?
No, I don't work for it. I have a couple of shirts from there. They're really nice shirts.
Okay.
They're expensive, though.
$300.
Okay, all right.
$299.50 to be exact.
And thanks for the call. I appreciate it, Brian.
Yeah.
I understand that it is a thing. I also just went back and found in this moment Shaquille O'Neal wearing, and this is like a prototype of the hoodie sport coat that he wore, as I said, on Letterman. The hoodie is actually sewn into the back of the lapel of the sport coat, and that's from 2018. So this has been around for a while.
It's a nice website, too.
This is not a new thing. BostonHerald.com. Boom.
Bang.
So Cam Ward, number 1. We got the pick there at number 2. Travis Hunter ends up in Jacksonville. Abdul Carter goes to the Giants at number 3, which leaves us with what, Mark Dondero?
That would be the Patriots picking at number 4, and as expected, well, they got their man.
With the 4th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New England Patriots select Will Campbell, tackle, LSU.
So the Patriots decide to go for protection up front for their diamond in the rough quarterback rather than anything else. Your thoughts, Daniel Jeremiah?
Of all the teams in this draft, to me, the tackle need for the Patriots was probably the most glaring across all 32 teams. They had to go in this direction. They go with Will Campbell out of LSU.
And then when Campbell got on the stage, he was interviewed and followed his selection with this soundbite here.
I've worked my entire life to be up here, to be able to get my name called by a franchise like New England. It means everything to me.
We can feel that. We absolutely can feel that, Will. You are brought to New England to protect Drake May. What kind of tone are you going to set on this offensive line?
I'm going to fight and die to protect them with everything I've got.
Congratulations, Will.
All right. I'm not going to make any Forrest Gump comparisons or anything easy like that.
Okay.
He seems like a nice kid. I hope he's a 10-year awesome all-pro.
It's my boat.
Okay, left tackle, all that stuff, right? I know what you're doing with the pinstripes. I'm on to you.
Enlighten me.
Trying to look longer. All I could think of when I saw him walking out and wearing that suit, I said, it looks like Tyler Milliken going to a wedding. He's built like Milliken. A huge Tyler Milliken, but he's got a Milliken thing going on with him.
Sounds like we got to set up an interview.
Take it however you want
I
it.
think Will Campbell would show you his nipples if you asked.
I mean, we are talking about, a football player, so it's okay. And we're not shaming, we're not doing anything. I mean, his primary job at left tackle is to be big and formidable and to have a physical presence. And physically, he's tall and he is big. There is something going on, I will say, from the shoulders down that is unsettling. There's something about him.
He's not
great.
broad enough for you?
Do you want me to tell you? Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, this is what we've been talking about. I know
shoulders.
It's
the arms,
the wingspan.
the everything. Right.
So the arm length has gotten a lot of airtime on here. I know we've talked about it. I've written about it. It's not great. 33 inches is what it is. The wingspan, if he starts at tackle, will be the shortest of any offensive tackle in the NFL since at least 1999, according to Mock Draftable.
Okay.
And there's one comparison of guys within even an inch and a half longer because he's 77 3/8 inches for his whole entire wingspan.
Okay.
Which in addition to being 6'6", he's 320 pounds. Like, he is a tall, slender 320 at 6'6". The wingspan matters, A, because of the historical data, but also the simple fact his job is to get in the way. And his skill set of being able to move side to side is very valuable. But at some point, there's not a lot of breadth to get around, right? Like, he's going to be met speed with speed. And when you saw him lose at LSU on an island, it's because once you get by him, there's not a whole lot there to get in the way.
And again, all the talk about his footwork, his ability when he does get beat out on the outside, his ability to spin around to the inside and get back and still be in a protected position. I get all that. I hope it all comes to fruition. That the game speeds up. And I heard one interesting analytic last night when they were talking about Travis Hunter. They said the game is slower in the NFL for the purposes of being Travis Hunter. If you're going to play both sides of the ball, you have more time to adjust and to get ready for those things more so than in college. Drives tend to last a little bit longer, or you have I don't know what exactly you're talking about, whether it was the TV timeouts, but they were talking about the slowness of the game. But after the actual snap, no, that's when it gets faster. In those moments after the snap, and will his footwork and athletic ability and be enough to make up for what he's lacking for? And let's just call it the breadth, the width, which obviously you look at him, okay, it's not necessarily there. Does seem like a really nice kid. And nice to see somebody show some genuine emotion and not immediately revert into self-congratulatory promotion mode as a lot of 20-something-year-old kids would do. I would have done it. A lot of these guys last night do it. He seemed genuinely affected and emotional at the moment,
So
which
I
didn't mind. I thought it was actually kind of nice.
Yeah, and we'll get into this a little bit more in the next hour, but I would say for the Patriots, they are betting on him to be a great outlier success. Again, if he starts at tackle, the shortest wingspan of any tackle since 1999, if he's going to do that successfully. What you would say if you're arguing for Will Campbell is that players who become exceptions in the NFL are already exceptional as athletes and people. And I think that is the case here with Will Campbell. Now, that's the part we're going to get into a little bit more. The quotes, though, he delivered to us in the media after, like, I know some people are on the fence. I'm on the fence. I don't know what's going to happen. You have to love.
If you like that clip, and how could you not? Check out more videos from Toucher and Hardy here. Point slightly up and to the left. For more Patriots analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. Point slightly down and to the left. And for the latest from the Sports Hub, download at 985thesportshub.com.